Hello and welcome to our fundraising video for the Early Learning Center at Kaune. I'm Abby Bordner and I am the Director VP of Resource Development at United Way of Santa Fe County. And this video is an opportunity for our donors and our community supporters to learn a little bit more in depth about each of our programs. So we're focusing today on the Early Learning Center at Kaune, and I have two amazing people, friends and advocates for early childhood education that are going to be contributing to our video today. I have Jen Salinas, the director of the Early Learning Center at Kaune, and Keith Burks, our longtime board member and supporter. So we'll be hearing from them in just a little bit. I will say that from a fundraising perspective, the Early Learning Center at Kaune is our biggest priority. The most need is at this center to cover the costs of owning a building and keeping it updated, the increased costs for our COVID response, smaller ratios in the classrooms and extra people to be cleaning, etc. So please think of this as ask for a helping hand and a generous heart when you learn about what we're doing at Kaune, and please consider a private donation to our fund that is about $5,000 per child of private fundraising that we do for all the students at Kaune. So that's what we're looking for, and please reach out to me if you have any questions at all. All right, I'm going to get started by showing a quick 2-minute video. This is actually from a documentary called No Small Matter, and it just paints the picture, the landscape of the national interest in early childhood education, and I'm really excited to say that United Way of Santa Fe County is a leader in the state of New Mexico for innovation and for long-term solutions through policy and government, as well as programs that are proven to improve outcomes for families. So we are right in the trend, and when you watch the video, you'll see some of the things that we're looking at when we consider moving forward in the early childhood education landscape.
Wait, no, Cookie, we're in the middle of doing a documentary film.
A documentary?
Yes.
Documentary.
Babies in the beginnings of humanity grew up in these very rich extended families. And of course, the world that we live in now is a very, very different world from them.
Minimum wage just isn't paying bills.
We couldn't afford to put him in preschool. Donnie's with him all day and I'm with him all night.
This notion of the American dream is fundamentally not happening.
Putting her life in someone else's hands means so much.
1 year old, can't say anything, he doesn't sit up.
When those markers are set in childhood, they impact the way our bodies work for the rest of our lives.
Ignoring this, that's a disaster for us as a society.
This is not the way it's supposed to be.
We have a deeper understanding now of how important these early years are and why.
We're unlocking the secrets of the brain. First time in history. We never had a way to look into a baby's brain before.
What's going on up there is rocket science.
Yes! I want to be their Miss Honey. I want to be the one that's like, you can do anything. I got myself a baby!
Every child should have access to high-quality early education.
If we get this right, our country will look dramatically different.
Whatever we want to call it, childcare, preschool, home, we have to do it everywhere.
So I like that video just because it talks not only about the struggles that families feel individually in raising their children and the current state of the economy and their lives without extended family, but also this workforce development that's so critical for training teachers and compensating teachers to provide the best care in an early childhood education center. So next I want to introduce Jennifer Salinas, the Director of Early Learning at Kaune, and I'm going to have her share with us a little bit about, Jen, why don't you start by talking about the Reggio Emilia philosophy at Kaune?
Sure. Hi, everybody. So the Early Learning Center at Kaune is inspired by the Reggio Emilia approach. This approach is rich and complex and not so easy to describe in just a few words or a few sentences. It also looks very different in every school. The educators of Reggio Emilia actually encourage each community to shape the approach to their own community, to their own children, their families, their educators. But I can offer a brief introduction of what it looks like at our center. So for us, the approach means seeing all members of our community for the strengths that they bring through their own experiences, their thoughts, their ideas, their perspectives. And our educators work closely with children to develop meaningful projects and studies that build off of those strengths. This is a process that moves fluidly between the educators, the children, and the families as the projects unfold over time and continue to be shaped by activity ideas, documentation, reflection on that documentation, children's responses to those activities that we've planned, and so forth. We also encourage children to express and explore their ideas and theories through multiple different languages, as it's referred to in the Reggio Emilia approach. So we give them opportunities to paint, to sculpt, to try movement, and to have rich dialogues with their peers and their teachers. And as a program, we continue to learn and engage in this approach, and we continue to grow in our interpretation of it. So it continues to grow and develop and evolve every year as we learn more about the Reggio Emilia approach.
It sounds to me like it would be very important as a teacher to have that evolution that happens. And if you just mute for a second, there's some feedback. Oh, thanks. And I think one thing I'm so proud of at United Way is that we have such a strong teaching staff at Kaune, and many of our teachers have been with us for 8, 9, 10 or more years. And that's unusual in an early learning environment to have that solid of a community that you're building around your school, and that they get to know each other and they get to evolve these ideas together. It's really seems like a rich environment that's not stagnant and not set in one way of learning. Tell us about the dual language component at Kaune.
Sure. So as a program for the many years that we've been open as an early learning center, bilingual education has always been a part of our classrooms. And we've begun to develop that more intentionally over the last couple of years. As a school, we believe in the value of learning 2 languages. We believe that bilingual and dual language programs promote bilingualism and biliteracy. They also promote cross-cultural competence in all students. Our goal is that students maintain their native language while adding another language. So they develop pride in their own culture while also developing an understanding of others and others' cultures. Each of our classroom builds on their own strengths as a teaching team and to meet the needs of their specific classroom community. So we don't have a one-size-fits-all approach to dual language at our center. Instead, you'll see the teachers work to regularly integrate both languages throughout the day. So they're moving fluidly between languages and supporting children and communicating with their peers who may speak a different language from them. If you were to walk into our school, you'd hear both English and Spanish coming out in every activity. So educators are reading books or when they're conversing with children at meal times, while participating in typical classroom routines, while exploring centers. Everything throughout the day, you'll just hear both languages happening. English and Spanish are the 2 primary languages that we focus on in our center due to the particular community that we work with. But we also work to integrate other home languages into our program. We work closely with families to learn useful and common phrases that we can then share with the class and help to introduce them to other languages. We've had Russian and German, lots of different languages that our families bring to us, and we work to integrate into our classrooms. Our goal is to ensure that children feel comfortable expressing themselves and their own home language, and that they feel that we as a center understand and value that language and also respect the culture that comes with that language. And we also want the children to learn to value and celebrate those differences within our community and feeling that pride for their own community and culture and language.
That's amazing. That's really well said. And I wouldn't have expected that, just dual language seems like a matter of meeting people's needs, but it actually is a foundation for respecting other cultures and learning about other cultures and being exposed to that kind of multicultural lens that promotes anti-racism and diversity and appreciation and respect. So you can never start too early with those concepts, and kids usually pick up on them so quickly. Lastly, I know a lot of people are interested in knowing how Kaune has adapted with the COVID pandemic, and I have been talking recently to some of our community supporters about really we have been available and remained open for the majority of the last 6 months that we were deemed an essential service and provided childcare for healthcare workers and essential workers, and then went into our summer program in June with limited enrollment. But tell us about how the teachers, the school, what does life look like now for all of you at Kaune?
Sure. Like you said, we've remained open for the majority of these last 6 months. There was a short period or a little bit of time that we did shift from providing that in-person care to remote learning. And I think that experience that we had of providing that remote learning opportunity for families really helped us, focus in on the importance of the in-person care. Many of our families were appreciative of the continued support and the connection that we were able to provide through that online learning. But we found that it was really missing many of the key components of meaning early childhood experiences. So much of our approach to these critical years of development revolves around children's interactions with others, helping children learn how to work through conflicts and disagreements with others, learning how to express their feelings and their ideas, learning from others' experiences and theories and building off of them. It goes back to what we shared with dual language, having those experiences of others and learning from those other people is so critical to the work that we do. On top of that, when we were providing remote learning, we felt really conflicted about providing this online content when we know that there's detrimental effects of screen time on children's brain development. And so we tried to provide other alternative options that encouraged families to take their children offline and do activities with them. But then we found that added to the burden of families who are already trying to juggle working from home and supporting other children with connecting to the public schools or their own remote learning possibilities and responsibilities that they had. So we were glad to be able to provide that support during that short time that we weren't in person. But it really helps strengthen our belief that in-person provides the best learning opportunities for children during the early childhood years. So we have, starting in the summer, we provided our summer jumpstart program and summer programming to children. And we've continued that throughout the school year. We do have smaller numbers in our classrooms, but we're moving forward and providing these really wonderful learning experiences for children. We feel good about the systems and the procedures that we have in place right now to provide the education and the care in person in the safest way possible. And we continually hear positive statements from all of our families, just being so appreciative of the fact that we are providing in-person care and that they see all the work that this team is putting forth to provide that in safe ways for all of our children and families. So, we know that it's important to our community and that they're really appreciating that we're able to provide this care.
That's great. That's great. And it has been important for us all to recognize how critical childcare is for the essential workers in our communities and what it takes to really for families to be able to work full time and be available for the work they do. Next, I wanted to walk through a couple photos at Kaune, and Jen, I have a couple places where I'd like you to comment, but we'll go through these and just, this is in lieu of a tour. Some of our donors and community supporters love to see what it looks like at Kaune, so we're not bringing any outside visitors into the school right now, but for those of you curious to see what it looks like, we'll just walk through these these photos. All right, so here you see the outside of the Kaune building, and this is an elementary school that was built in 1948 in Santa Fe, and we bought Kaune from the public schools 6-7 years ago, and it is now the Early Learning Center at Kaune. It's at 1409 Monterey Drive, right in the central Santa Fe, off of Cerrillos Road near Vaca, and this is one of the classrooms that was set up a while ago. And Jen, I'd like you to just tell us what we would find if we entered into one of the classrooms now and what we might be able to see in this picture.
Sure. So one of the guiding principles of the Reggio Emilia approach is setting up the environment as the third teacher, which means that the materials and the environment, the setting of the classroom inspires just as much joy and curiosity and exploration as an educator would by the questions that they're asking of children. So when you would walk into one of our classrooms, you would notice there's a lot of open-ended materials, a lot of recycled materials. We like to give children access to materials that they can use in a variety of different ways. Each child, again, brings those ideas, those experiences that they've had in their own lives to make that cardboard tube or to make that rock into something different for each of them. And it helps to build these wonderful learning experiences that are really reflective of their own life experiences and then sharing that with the rest of the classroom community. You'd also notice that we really try and build just a warm, loving environment that feels really homey, and again, that encourages exploration and wonder. So you'll see prisms and mirrors and lights and things that encourage children to look at things differently and bring a different perspective to their world and to their surroundings.
And you'll also find in every classroom this circle carpet, and tell us what happens here.
Sure. So circle time looks different every single day, but this is our large group gathering time. This looks a little bit different right now. We're trying to space it out a little bit more so that we are adhering to our physical distancing protocols. But usually this time is used as an opportunity to bring the group together. We do, a lot of times this time is used to do what we refer to as our reflection circles. So children might bring some of the work that they've been doing, or teachers might bring photos and quotes and conversations that children have been having, and the children dialogue about that, making comments about what they did, sharing about their own work, and opening that up to questions from the other children. And it's an opportunity for them to share and to learn from one another and to build on those ideas. It's also a time when teachers will introduce new concepts, new activities, and practice some things like counting the children and recognizing their names and exploring their names and the letters in their names. So the teachers will also use these as opportunities to use circle time and large group time as an opportunity to introduce and work on some different classroom concepts as well.
Great. It's such a fun thing to see when the kids are all there and the teachers are doing their magic. All of the rooms at Kaune have these beautiful big windows, and again, you see that sense of home and nurturing environment. We invite families to be part of the learning at Kaune. We celebrate families and their siblings and extended people in their lives. So you'll see some pictures here of kids. These are from last year. If you were there today, you'd see everyone in masks, but Miss Andronette, one of our longtime teachers, reading to the kids, which is part of that circle time. You can see how they're just captivated. And tell us about the outdoor space at Kaune, Jen. We'll see some pictures here of children playing outdoors, and how important is that to their experience at Kaune?
Outdoor learning has always been really crucial and important in our eyes. We want to make sure that children get that time to explore and experience nature. Again, because of our focus on open-ended materials and natural materials, the outdoor just lends itself to so many different wonderful learning experiences. Then that's just increased even more right now during the pandemic that we find ourselves in. We're trying to spend as much time outdoors as we possibly can to get children some extra fresh air and to create the opportunity for that additional space as children play and interact with one another. We're really working right now to actually build some additional outdoor learning spaces. Teachers came up with some ideas based on the interest that they've seen children demonstrate to us over the past couple of years. We'd like to build an art and music space for children to explore, a building and construction area. We just got a wonderful garden put in this summer that children are loving to explore, and they've been tasting lettuce out of there these last that's growing. So yeah, we have a really wonderful developing outdoor learning space right now that we're really utilizing during this pandemic, and we're we feel really lucky to have that space, and the children just absolutely love it.
That's beautiful. So I'll scroll through the next photos and just notice, if you're watching the video, that the interaction, the learning, the connection that's happening when you see the kids and adults that are there to help them learn. And to see familiar faces. And can you tell us just a little bit about this photo, Jen?
Yeah, so like I said, when we were doing the remote learning, we found there was definitely some challenges with that. So we did try to supplement that by sending home some little care packages to our families. So we did a couple of different ones, some with some basic art materials like markers and colored pencils, and journals. We did another one that was based around an activity with seeds and gave children seeds and talked about measurement, and again another journal and some activity ideas. And when the teachers posted online their activities for the weeks for that week, they built off of the materials that we sent home. Teachers delivered these personally to children's homes. We would go and leave up their doorstep so that every single family got one of these care packages, whether or not they were able to come and travel to us. So yeah, we got quite a few of those delivered during those couple of months when we were providing remote learning for our families.
Right. And these photos are also teachers at Kaune who were doing videos for their students. So a couple pictures there. And this one I love, they all coordinated to send a message. Let's see. We are all safe at home, but we miss our UWSFC ELC families. We hope to see you soon. Keep smiling. All right. Thanks so much, Jen. And next I want to get to Keith Burks, who is on the call, on the recording as well. Keith, thank you so much for being here. Keith is a board member at United Way of Santa Fe County and has been a long-time supporter and advocate for our work, and just retired this year. Congratulations, Keith, from a long career at PNM. So Keith, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and why do you choose to support United Way of Santa Fe County?
Well, first of all, thank you, Abby and Jen. I'm excited to be here and be part of this video, because the youth of Santa Fe is what United Way is all about. And that's great. So I got exposed to United Way during my 42-year career at PNM here in Santa Fe the whole time. And about my second year, I got involved with running the campaign for United Way at PNM. I actually had a time back in the 80s where I was loaned to United Way for a week. And that really taught me a lot about the programs. Well, many years later, I was blessed to have an opportunity to serve on the board of directors here in Santa Fe. And so during my years here in Santa Fe, my wife and I raised 2 children ourselves, but I got to spend a lot of time coaching, from elementary basketball to Little League. I coached baseball right up through high school. And one of the things it taught me was that not every child gets the same start, at no fault of their own. There's family difficulties sometimes, and it's always made an impression on me that those children deserve the same start that everybody has. So I am so pleased to be part of United Way of Santa Fe County, because that is our main goal. The youth of Santa Fe, and filling in what they need so they don't have a disadvantaged start to life. So basically, that's why I'm here, and I'm proud to be here for United Way.
Thanks so much, Keith. You've been a big advocate for our corporate partnership with PNM as well. You've been able to bring us into the spotlight of their charitable giving over the years, and they've been a great supporter of us. And so we really appreciate the connections you've made for United Way of Santa Fe County in the community with small business owners and large businesses, and through your participation at PNM. So thank you for that. And I want to just restate and reemphasize that we raise privately over $5,000 per student per year at Kaune to cover the expenses of providing high quality early childhood education. We are asking donors to step up and help to provide scholarships and services for the families that really need our support. Again, that offering a helping hand and with a generous heart is the focus for our fundraising this year. And I do have one short video to finish off the video. This is especially for you, our donors, our community supporters. We appreciate you. Thank you for supporting us for so many years. And this is for you.
Can you say it loud with me? Really loud? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for all you do for our children. Thank you for your donations and your time. Please keep helping out when you have time. This is our future right here, our future leaders. Yay! Gracias.
Gracias a la maestra por cuidar a mis hijas y enseñarle a mis hijos también.
You, our donors, are our lifeblood. We couldn't do this work without you. Thank you so very much from United Way of Santa Fe County.